Hi students, welcome to today's class, and yes, we are at the last stage of studying susceptibility, and in today's class we will be taking two important topics, that is what is morbid or disease susceptibility, and second, views of different authors and their explanation or thinking about susceptibility. Okay, now this is an important class. Now have you seen when you usually talk to your other classmates, you would be seeing that in your class there will be some people who are always sick. They are repeatedly sneezing, or they will tell that the climate change, so I am sneezing, there is dust, so I am sneezing. Then there are people that everything which passes around them, somebody else falls sick, they will also fall sick. So we see these people and we figure, oh God, they are always sick. Then there is an other extreme of people or students in your class whom you might feel that they are so healthy. They never get cough and cold, they don't get fever, they don't never fall sick. So you might be seeing like such so many cases. Then when you are seeing in your, because you are not practicing it, if you will be seeing some of your relatives or somebody, you would have heard that suddenly you hear that this and this and this relative has come up with cancer. Then you go about and tell, oh my God, so bad, till now he didn't have any symptoms and all of a sudden it's a cancer. I believe all these three scenarios you have experienced in your life, and you have experienced these three scenarios means the answer to why these scenarios occur is what you are going to learn today in the class. Okay, so let's answer these beautiful questions. Now first thing is about susceptibility. When you speak morbid or diseased susceptibility, is of two types, that is either the susceptibility is increased or the susceptibility is decreased, that is either it is high or it is low. In both these conditions it is diseased or it produces disease. Okay, now how do we understand whether it is increased or decreased? You can ask me that I told so much about high potency, low potency, high susceptibility. How are we going to understand that? The answer is this. So increased susceptibility, how does it denote, or how do you understand the susceptibility is increased? The answer is it promotes development of disease and abnormal response to stimuli in environment which are ordinarily not harmful. So there are things around you which ordinarily are not harmful, yet if you are exposed to it, you promote or produce disease. So increased susceptibility is it promotes development of disease and abnormal response to stimuli in environment which are ordinarily not harmful. Now this is the first scenario where I told. For example, atopy, allergy, hematological diseases, etc. Okay, this is what the first scenario I told, when you might be seeing students who every time they are exposed to dust, or if they go out in sun, they will have itching and they will have rashes, or if they are exposed to dust, they may come up with irritation. It can be allergic rhinitis, it can be allergic dermatitis, allergic bronchitis, it might be allergy, atopy, hematological disorders, and all such responses where ordinarily other people are not producing symptoms, these patients produce symptoms. Now that is how you understand increased susceptibility. So in gist, if you see, now I teach you about decreased susceptibility or low susceptibility, and I will explain it to you later. So decreased susceptibility. Now decreased susceptibility is other extreme, that is poor response of organism to stimuli in environment and poor protective response hence no acute outbursts Okay, so people with decreased susceptibility will have poor response to stimuli in environment. They will have poor protective responses and hence no acute outbursts. That was what I was telling about, that patients who or students who don't have any symptoms or who are almost healthy, and you are so happy to see them that they never fall sick, and they are usually the students who get good grades or who usually are appreciated by teachers because of 100% attendance. Okay. Now then, if it is a decreased susceptibility, is it good? The answer is that no. You have to remember that barking dog never bites. That is, गरजने वाले बादल बरसते नहीं. That is, the susceptibility, when it is increased, it may produce a lot of halla-gulla, it may produce lot of signs and symptoms, but usually because of acute outbursts, they can be brought back to normal or cured easily. Now, patients who have decreased susceptibility because of their decreased protective responses or decreased response to the external stimuli, they may not come up with the disease usually. But when they do, then it is usually severe or it is end stage. That's what I was telling about, that oh God, my poor relative expired because though till yesterday he didn't have any symptoms and now he expired because of cancer. Oh my God, why does it happen? So this is the reason. That is, the difficulty of decreased susceptibility is that they don't produce, or they produce less signs and symptoms. Now with less signs and symptoms, it becomes difficult to prescribe or even cure the case. That's the difference between increased susceptibility and decreased susceptibility. And these patients usually end up in final stages of disease. Example, cancer. I can give you one such example, that one patient was brought to me for being treated for a rheumatological conditions. Now this patient is mother of another patient. Now that lady took medicine with arthritic complaints, took medicine only for a week or two and then she stopped. But usually because we are too busy, we sometimes don't remember that what happened, your mother is not showing over. And after 2 or 3 months, and I asked this patient, what happened, your mother is not seen. And then she told that my mother had rheumatic complaints and her mother does not stick on to the doctor. She usually keeps on shifting the doctors. So she went to some other doctor. I was not happy with it. I didn't tell anything. I told, okay, but now how is she? Then she told, oh God, doctor, you don't know. Usually she used to have only rheumatic complaints, that is joint pain. Other than that, she never had any disease or produced any symptoms. But just few days back or a month back, I hope, she suddenly fainted. Now when this mother fainted, the daughter was quite astonished and she was immediately rushed to the hospital, and they found out that her HB was 2%, 2 gram. Okay, so you just have to understand that her HB was so low. Now what is that this lady was standing on her feet and not having any symptoms, and all of a sudden fainted. And this lady has never been very sick in her life. Usually she's told to be very healthy by the doctor. Usually my mother never falls sick. She never even gets a fever. She's the most healthiest person in our home. And this is what happened. That shows decreased susceptibility. And when the patient is usually producing symptoms, they will be in the end stages or in a severe stage. Okay. That is about increased and decreased susceptibility. Then let's go to views by other authors on susceptibility. Now first we'll go to H.A. Roberts. Now H.A. Roberts, according to him, susceptibility is vacuum. Recently one of her mother told me that one of the patients who is a mother told me, oh God doctor, why do we feel hungry? If only the hunger was not there, then naturally we would not have we did not cook, we did not make things. It is just papi pet ka sawal that we have to do or move, or all these things is because of this papi pet or this stomach, which is goes hungry after few hours. Even now I am hungry. That's a different point. Okay, so coming back to that. Okay, so susceptibility is a vacuum. In our health also, we get these needs. We feel hungry, we feel like going and passing urine, we feel like going to stool, we sweat, we excrete. So all these daily things is also happening when and what time the body needs it, the body calls for it. Now when this vacuum this vacuum attracts or pulls things it needs, but not anything, which needs things, pulls things it needs which are on same plane of vibration as the want of the body. That is, when I am thirsty, do you think I'll be able to eat something and just control my thirst or relax my thirst? No. For thirsty, I have to drink water. If I am hungry, I have to eat. Of course, going to toilet is not going to help me. So, it attracts things which are in the same plane of vibration as the want of the body. Now, susceptibility is an attractive force. It is an attractive force which, if affected, attracts disease. That is H.A. Roberts' view. Let's go to Kent's view. Kent has beautifully written that susceptibility is influx of cause, and cause flows in the direction of least resistance. When resistance appears, the flow ceases. It's just, for example, you can think a glass, empty glass in my hand. Now I am going to start pouring water. Now I can pour water only till the glass fills. If I pour more than that, of course the water is going to spill. So it's an influx of cause only in the direction towards least resistance. And whenever the resistance appears or it is filled, then naturally the flow of cause stops. Okay. That's why when we are sick, have you ever thought that why if everybody, the cause might be similar, like for example any particular infection, or if you take viral diseases, why is that everybody does not produce the same set of symptoms? Some may have headache more, some may have vomiting more. So it is depending on our least resistance that that organ or that part gets affected. Okay. And there is a limit to influx. It just can't keep on flowing in that direction. There is limit to the influx. Now Stuart Close. According to Stuart Close, susceptibility implies affinity, attraction, hunger and need. They are normally present, but if they are perverted, they bring on disease. There is one more author. I believe second year students don't have that author to study for philosophy, but third year and fourth year I think they have. That is Dunham. According to Dunham, susceptibility is elasticity. Elasticity means something like a rubber band. You can stretch only till a particular limit. But if you are going to stretch it more than that, of course, it's going to break and you are going to come up with disease. For example, sleep. Now you sleep daily for 6 hours. Now you don't sleep for one day because suppose tomorrow is your exam and you are not going to sleep, it's fine. You will still might be okay and you may just go write the exam and come. Now next day also is exam and you don't sleep for the second day. Do you think you will be able to write the exam properly? So everything has got its limit. So susceptibility is like elasticity. You can stretch up to a particular limit. If you are going to just keep on stretching it, it's going to break and the disease is going to come out. So this is what about susceptibility. Believe you would have understood susceptibility well. Still, if you have anywhere I can help you, always ready for your comments. So stay tuned for more and still more aphorisms to go. Thank you.